Hi, welcome back. Today I want to talk about what separates a useless risk assessment from the one that actually protects your people and operations. Hey, welcome back. I'm RJ Jubber, and today I want to ask you a direct question. If 5 new risks land on your desk today, can you confidently say which one would seriously injure someone or shut down a line tomorrow? Most teams I talk to can't. Not because they don't care, but because their risk assessment process is built for documentation and not decisions. Paperwork checks a box. Real protection comes from clear scoring, smart prioritization, and closed loop action. Today I want to talk you through the 3 elements that turn a risk assessment from a compliance exercise into something that genuinely reduces risk in the field. Now let's start with scoring, because this is where inconsistency kills credibility. You've probably seen the classic setup: high, medium, low. It feels straightforward until 2 supervisors look at the same bypassed guard and give it completely different ratings. One calls it medium, another one calls it high, and suddenly leadership is comparing opinions instead of facts. A reliable scoring system changes all of that. It focuses on actual exposure frequency, not just whether the hazard exists. Credible, realistic outcomes, and not Hollywood worst-case scenarios. Consistent criteria that everyone applies the exact same way. Think about it. A chemical drum stored properly once a month versus a guard routinely removed 10 times a day. Which one carries real current risk to people and production? When scoring is objective and comparable, you stop debating and start seeing the truth. That's exactly why platforms like QScore build in structured logic, moving you from subjective labels to data leaders can actually trust and compare across sites and work teams. Here's the tough reality for most operations. Frontline teams are incredibly busy fixing risks all day long, just rarely the most critical ones. Why? Because when every risk looks the same on a list or arrives in separate emails or spreadsheets, priorities default to whatever's easiest, newest, or loudest. Great prioritization flips that. It answers the questions that really matter. Which risks keep reoccurring? Which locations show the same patterns? Which controls are degrading over time? Where is exposure actually increasing? With clear visibility into frequency, trends, and cross-site comparisons, leadership stops reacting to the crisis of the week and starts targeting root causes. QScore surfaces those high frequency and escalating patterns automatically, so you can know exactly where to direct limited resources for the biggest impact. You can't reduce risk if you're not aiming at the right targets. Now, we reach the silent killer of risk management, the action phase. A hazard gets flagged. Someone writes, "Address this." Maybe a task gets assigned. And then silence. No owner follows through. No verification happens. 3 months later, the same issue reappears, often worse than it was before. Effective risk assessment doesn't stop at identification. It closes the loop by answering who owns this fix? What specific change is required? What's the realistic deadline? How will we conform the control to actually work in the real world? This isn't extra paperwork. It's how you convert insight into operational control. QScore links every identified risk directly to assigned actions, due dates, reminders, and verification steps. Issues stay visible until they're genuinely resolved, so risks don't quietly return. They get eliminated. When these 3 pieces, scoring, prioritization, and actioning, work together, the results are measurable. Fewer repeat incidents, higher frontline reporting confidence, faster catch of emerging trends, decisions based on data, not a gut feel. A stronger culture where people trust the system. It's not about perfect people. It's about a process that supports them. At the end of the day, the difference is simple. Weak risk assessments document problems. Strong ones drive decisions that prevent harm and protect operations. Scoring gives clarity on severity. Prioritizations show you where to focus. Actioning ensures change actually happens. That's the foundation QScore is built on. Not just capturing risk, but helping teams manage and reduce it every day. If you're ready for more practical ways to strengthen operational risk management, follow QScore for insights that make a real difference. Because real safety isn't about more forms. It's about seeing clearly and actioning decisively.